What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as y'all know, I did end up making videos going over Need for Speed 2015, Need for Speed Payback, Need for Speed Heat, even went over Need for Speed Rivals and 2012, what made them special, and also on top of that, some things that didn't. With that, I was thinking about this, so I was like, well, wait a minute, there's another racing game that was also going to be special and still is even to this day. That is going to be the Crew 2. Now, this game did end up coming out around 6+ years ago or 7 years ago, so yeah, it's definitely going to be on the older side. In fact, I think the Crew 2 was out around, or I guess you could say a tad after Need for Speed Payback was, so yeah, it's probably going to be aging a bit. Funny thing is, it is still going to be absolutely fantastic even to this day. And I did want to go over some things that really did make this game special. Now also, if you were wondering, there was another game I was also thinking of that definitely would have been so dang good for this entire series and stuff, to where that game would have been special, which was going to be the Crew 1. I think we're all going to guess why I probably can't jump on that game and play it a bit, because it's not possible. Unless that new mod thing does end up coming out on PC, because then I will definitely be trying it out. But besides all of that, though, the Crew 2 still, even to this day, is still going to be a very special racing game. And I would even say, in fact, a lot of players are still going back to it, regardless of the newer games that have ended up coming out, which is probably going to be the Crew Motorfest, because that's obviously going to be the newer version of this game. But the thing is, though, the Crew 2 offered so many different things that many players can enjoy. The number one, and I guess you could say the first thing I do want to talk about, which for many is the number one thing, is going to be the map itself. Now, the map in this game, though, is going to be around apparently 7,000 kilometers squared, legit a whole redesigned version of the United States. So yeah, it's going to be the type of racing game to where you can jump on it and go, okay, well, I'm going to head over here to the top of the main area, drive around the roads here. But you know what? I'm kind of feeling like going to Detroit, or maybe I want to go to New York. Maybe you're then thinking about heading all the way to Miami and visiting South Beach or going to the Keys or something. You could legit drive to every single location in this game, which honestly was so dang cool. Even to this day, I like jumping on this game, driving to different locations, heading over to like Washington or something, maybe going over to Nashville. Like the fact that they're going to have a bunch of iconic locations around the entire map is going to make it so dang entertaining. Even to this day, I would probably say many players jump on with their friends, do some road trips, head all the way over to the Port Isabel Island area over here or something, maybe go over to like Dallas or even head over to like Vegas. There is legit so many different areas you can drive to. Not only is there going to be a bunch of bodies of waters like this one here, like the rivers, you're going to have the big open like plain areas with like the hills in the background. You're going to have big forest areas. Like this game really does offer every type of terrain. Oh, you want to head over to the bigger mountains? Well, you also have that over here in the Midwest area, which is kind of going to be a tad past that. But either way, though, you can head over to the big mountains, explore that, go on the dirt roads, and there really was so many different places to explore. That was probably one of my favorite things about the Crew 2, because I feel like so many players like a big map, or they do like exploring, driving around in some of their favorite cars and stuff, and this game really did give you that feeling. On top of all of that, though, you're also going to be able to jump in with your friends, drive around the entire map together. Like, okay, well, let's spawn over to Seattle, put that checkpoint all the way in the Keys. I think it's like 90 something miles, I believe, going from that location to that one. You can legit drive all the way there on a motorcycle. You could use a plane if you want. I would say a powerboat would probably be a tad annoying to do that, or like a jet sprint. Doing that on a hovercraft is also going to take a while, but you have the street cars, you have the hyper. You can head over there in like an Alpha GP or something. If you want, you could even try to do like off-roading only all the way to the other side of the map. There really was so many different ways to enjoy, and on top of all of that, we're also going to have a ton of events that also tie into it, going around the entire map that everybody can enjoy, which is also going to help every single class almost feel like they're important, or you can kind of enjoy them and they're not going to feel forgotten and stuff, to where they might only having like a few events like in Motorfest, where the Rallycross has like, what is it, 3 events or something like that. Like, come on, man. We definitely need more races like that. But then again, I understand having a bigger map opens up things for that. And I do understand, guys, on top of all of this that I am saying, there's still probably going to be the other side of it, that people might jump in and go, oh, well, yeah, Block, the map is massive, but the graphics are not going to be that great. There's going to be a lot of copy and pasted buildings everywhere and stuff. Like, I do understand that, but then again, though, at a map this size, it's probably going to happen. I could not imagine the time it probably took them to make this entire map, and probably have some detail and pretty decent graphics for the most part. We all do know having a map of this scale, all the different areas you can drive around, which is basically everywhere, it's probably going to take a serious amount of coding and a lot of time into it. And yeah, you're probably going to drive around the map a bit and probably notice, oh look, there's that building again, or okay, well there's going to be this building here, that's the same one over there. Oh look, this bush is going to be floating or something. Like, yeah, that stuff is easily going to happen. The funny part to me though is even in Motorfest there is going to be a neighborhood in that game where there is legit like 7 of the exact same houses in the same area. And it's pretty much going to be the same 2 or 3 houses basically copy and pasted on both sides of the road. So yeah, that map is going to be way smaller than this one, and they're still going to be reusing the assets of the buildings. I would say that's going to be something you would end up seeing in different racing games. I understand it, but I do also get at the same time that people would nitpick that and see it. I definitely get it. Like if you are driving around in the Crew 2 or something, you go through a city, the coloring of the city sometimes or the coloring of the game might not be all that. But then again, I feel like with the map size, I kind of got to give them credit where it is due. Funny part is though, driving around the entire map, I also did kind of notice that. But at the same time, I was like, well, there is going to be some buildings, yeah, the coloring of them, yeah, the pixelated stuff in some places. You know what, I'm going to take that because I can drive around the entire United States, and at least, you know, a version of it anyway, go around to like the Grand Canyon, go off-roading, head over to Salt Lake City, maybe go over to like Los Angeles. There's going to be so many different places you can cruise to, drive to. There is legit hours and hours of cruising around and stuff. It is so dang entertaining. So I guess you do have to take the good and the bad with that aspect. With the game of this scale though, I feel like a lot of people did end up looking past it because of the map itself, which I would say is probably one of the biggest things ever. In fact, I am going to be having a video coming out eventually, probably sooner than later, because going over the entire Crew franchise has been kind of getting me really hyped up or heated with it at the same time. So I am probably going to be going over like the vision of the entire Crew franchise, and did it end up going backwards. I am going to talk about the Crew 1, some of the cool experience I had in that game, and also a funny experience I had at GameStop when I did end up getting it. The next thing I did want to talk about in this video is going to be the HQs here in the Crew 2. Now, as y'all know, I did end up making a video about this not too long ago going over the HQs, because I gotta admit these were going to be pretty dang awesome, or at least a very unique thing that was in the game. We all do know this is going to be the freestyle one. How do I run? Oh yeah, it's R2. We all do know this is going to be a pretty interesting one. We have the jet sprints, we have the monster truck there. We're also then going to have the aerobatics plane and the demolition derby cars. The really cool thing about this though is you can legit pick up one of these vehicles, test drive them, and check every single one of them out. In fact, even being here, you could pretty much head over to the vehicle, guys, take a seat inside of it, and even look at everything the vehicle does have to offer. I thought this was going to be a really cool thing you could do in this game. And in fact, we all do know it's probably going to be the type of thing that, yeah, you don't have to have it, but I feel like why would you not want to? It's going to be another feature kind of similar to something like Test Drive, or where you can like look at a vehicle, examine it. You can also change the cars around here looking at these, which I'll do that here in a second. But let me get in the monster truck here. You can get in this, check out the interior and all that. You can even see the other vehicles as well, which is kind of insane. Like, it's going to be a pretty dope thing you can do. And you're like, oh, well, I don't like this monster truck. Head over here and then go over to something like the Abarth. All you guys have to do then is hit the circle button or whatever. And boom, the Abarth is now going to be here. You could check out every single vehicle. Anybody else think this is going to be a pretty dope thing that made the Crew 2 special? We all do know it's not going to be in Motorfest now. It's probably down to maybe not wanting to have this in there. Maybe they didn't need to have the HQ. But I gotta admit, though, having something like this in the game really is going to be a cool thing. And as I did mention that other video about the HQs, would you guys like to see something like this return again in the future of the Crew? Like maybe the next game, maybe something in Motorfest? Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. With that being said, though, the next thing I did want to briefly discuss, though, is going to be the Summit. Let me run over to that real quick, which I would say a lot of players are probably going to agree that the Summits in the Crew 2 are still going to be really entertaining to do, even though you are most likely not going to need any of the rewards that are going to be in it, which I would say is going to be fairly obvious. But looking at the other summits, you might check them out and go, okay, well, we're going to have a street race, hypercar event, touring, Alpha GP. We got Jet Sprint, Demolition Derby. Like, that's so dang cool to have a mix-up. And that was probably one of my favorite things about the Crew 2, which is probably also why I do the Summit still. Like, yeah, basically no one's really doing these. I mean, 61,000 points for the Summit if I check this. only 11,000 players are going to be ranked. So yeah, not that many are doing them. Probably going to be kind of obvious with how old this game is, like it does make sense. We're also then going to have the night shift and then into the storm there, which is going to be the BMW M8 Performance. That car is awesome, by the way. I would recommend getting it. But with that, though, is also going to be the really fun variety of events in the summits. Like, for example, on this one, we're going to have Demolition Derby. In Motorfest, there is not even a single Demolition Derby event in the entire game. So guess what? That entire class can never be in a summit. Y'all probably see where I'm going with that. So the variety in this game is always going to be better than that one. And that could be a lack of events and stuff. Yeah, they can add them. But I feel like the Crew 2 did it so much better. Also, one thing I gotta admit, one thing they did way better is going to be the rewards that you normally get in the summits. Because I feel like a lot of the things are going to be worthwhile and really worth going after. 150,000 followers on this one. You'll get yourself some parts. You'll get yourself the BMW N610A tire. You're also then going to have something like the 458, a really cool epic smoke. Also an epic tire in silver. That is 2 epic items in one summit, which normally Motorfest never has it, unless there's going to be a vehicle involved. For example, this one's going to be 200,000 followers, 2 epic rewards, and a vehicle for the summer reward. That's going to be pretty dang good, especially making players want to do it and go after certain items if it does make it even more entertaining for them to get some of the items if they never actually got them. The next thing I did want to talk about here in the menu is going to be the timeline of the things you can unlock playing the Crew 2 and the icon point system. So first I'll start off with the icon points here. Yeah, you're going to have the normal stuff like Muddy, Bender. You're going to have Skilled. All these are going to be maxed out. Pure extra pump, but the biggest thing is you can also put as many points as you want on rich and popular. On top of that, you can have gold finder and lucky, or gold finger, gold finder, tomato tomato. Either way though, you can put as many points that you actually have on these. Quick example on this guy's rich, I could put this all the way up to over 1,000 points on rich. Legit, check this out. I will keep going all the way up here, see what the thing will be, so let me do it all. So 1,129 of my points are going to be on rich. That is going to be a 112.9% increase on the money I make. On top of that, you can also have the buck stats on your actual part set. So guess what? You're going to be making some crazy money, man. In fact, on the New York race with this setup right now, I think you'll probably make like 650 something thousand dollars. Tell me how insane that really is. So yeah, you can make a lot of money and easier once you do end up leveling up. But on top of that, you're then going to have the timeline aspect to it to where you can always unlock something, even if it's going to be something smaller. Let me go all the way back here because currently I'm obviously almost 4,000. But with this though, let's go all the way back to level 1, which is probably going to take a while. But first, level 1,000 guys, progressing through the game will get you a really cool looking Bugatti Chiron. Look at that, fully carbon fiber, pretty dope looking vehicle. So yeah, leveling up is going to have some reasons behind it. And on top of it, you can also get some max out parts for different vehicles, sets, and all that by simply leveling up the entire timeline. In fact, I do remember getting some missing parts I did end up having back then by simply grabbing all the gold ones I was missing. I put the class I needed. I'd be like, okay, let me grab the part, and boom, I would end up getting like a score breaker, a loot digger that I was missing. We're then going to have a really cool looking monster truck here at 850. Funny thing is, when I first started playing this game, I was like, wait, there is legit items you can unlock through the entire thing. That's pretty dope. We're then going to have a drift vehicle here at 700. Let me keep going. 600 guys, you'll get yourself a little Ferrari. So yes, you can legit get some cool progression here, some cool vehicles by simply playing the game. You also do not have to buy these, which is pretty awesome. Get yourself a racing vehicle, a good hypercar, a monster truck. So technically you won't have to invest a ton of money into certain classes because you will be able to get other vehicles unlocked in that aspect. Like look at that. You're going to get the Peugeot 3008 there at level 300. Now a lot of people are probably going to be like, well, this is cool, but leveling up to 1000 is going to take forever. Will it though? If you put over 1,000 points on popular and do some longer races, you are going to get probably over a level or two. I think for me, it's probably a lot. Like, okay, I need 44,000 per rank. Even a longer event, you will still go up pretty dang well. On top of it, you could do the summits every week, get followers from that, and boom, you will continue to get a higher icon rank if you're lower leveled, like under 1,000, level 2, 300. 150,000 followers in a summit is going to be a lot, especially for your rank. So yeah, there's going to be some great parts of progression in the Crew 2 that also made it really special to me. And in fact, I really do miss the icon point system in this game. I gotta say it, Motorfest kinda ruined the entire legend point thing. It is so dang terrible in that game. Speaking of that though, let's move over to some of the other things the game offers. For example, the activities. So yeah, we have the unranked thing there for the summit. We're going to then have the entire thing here of the stories if you are new to it. Even to this day, I really wish you could reset these. I would love to play through them again. And that's the thing, like I understand looking at these, you probably can't get like the stagger wing again or something, or like one of the vehicles that was in these, but just give me like 100,000 XP or something. I would be happy to do it again. Play through every single story as much as I possibly want to. I really did love them. On top of that, you had daily ones, which are the lucky guy ones here, which if I do remember right, I think these did end up releasing basically weekly, giving you XP and stuff like that, money for doing them. It was going to be like a small 3-step thing here, which is also pretty entertaining. Again, I kind of wish we could end up resetting these. That was going to be a small piece of the entire thing of content this game did end up having. We're also then going to have the lovely live battle, which is going to be the PvP system. And yes, there is going to be class-based PvP, something everybody wants. We're also then going to have the hobbies here, which is going to give all kinds of challenges and so many different things to do in the game. This is probably one of my favorite things to think about because it gives a player a reason to jump on, do the challenges. You're going to get stars. You go through like a cool progression tree of different emotes, different items you can unlock by doing smaller challenges that you most likely would end up doing if you're going to be exploring anyway, like for example the photo ops or something. It's going to want you to do different freestyle skills, so go do different ones, different pro racing skills and stuff. You also have to fly in like a free drive formation with at least 3 planes, so that requires a crew. You have to collect live reward crates around the map. You have to ride on the roads with a certain radio station active, on a motorcycle. Like, these are the cool challenges that really make a game interesting. And again, this is something that definitely made the Crew 2 so dang special. It was so in-depth, there was a lot of things in the game that gives you something to do, and so many different things to work toward, whether it's vehicles, underglows, you had outfits, emotes, and all kinds of different things tied to these challenges, which always gave you something to do when you did end up getting on it. In fact, I haven't even done them all. I still don't even have the HX concept, which I'm oddly close of getting that, which is interesting. We are then going to have the Motorflix episodes as well, which gives you every single update. So you can also go back in, play all of these, mess around with some like the Contractor, go in, do some of the Forsberg events, the Frozen Into the Storm. Everything is going to be right here. You can really see how this game did end up evolving. You know, the funny part is I could probably keep rambling on about what made this game special, but the last thing I wanted to include in this video is going to be the houses. Now, I do understand a lot of players definitely want this in Motorfest, including myself, and that's coming down to the personal aspects of it. Like, yeah, you can customize a few things, or at least be able to for that matter, look at vehicles you own, change your outfits, and just check out some cool stuff around your entire garage. Like, I think that's pretty awesome. Change vehicles, look at them, customize them and stuff. This is something I really wish Motorfest did end up having. Like, yeah, we're going to have the Motorfest tent thing, but you know what? It's honestly kind of boring, man. Like, I gotta admit that. Let me head over here. And this is something I see so many people talking about because having something like a garage like this to where you can bring your friends in, check out different vehicles, like, yo, bro, check out my Bugatti, or do you like my motorcycles over there or something? Let's go check them out. Go check out your friends' garage. And I feel like in some ways having something like this really gives you that personal feeling a lot of players do want in racing games. This is also probably why so many people love Grand Theft Auto, because you can check out your friend's garage and stuff, see what cars they have, and probably check out like 5 different garages for that matter, because normally a lot of players like collecting vehicles, but if you can't show them off and stuff, what is going to be the point of having so many cars? But if you have something like this though, why not have some cars in there, change them around, go, okay, dude, check these out real quick. That is going to be so dang dope. Maybe Motorfest might get it one day. Like, maybe Motorfest is going to have houses. I don't know. But it would be such a dope feature. Overall, though, I think we can all agree the Crew 2 really does offer so much, even to this day, guys, here in 2025. If you haven't played the Crew 2, I would definitely recommend getting it, trying it out. You are not going to regret it. Like, yeah, you can argue the graphics aren't that great, but man, the map is so dang big. There's so many things to do. I feel like you have to take the good and the bad with it. I guess we can all agree that the Crew 2 is not only going to be insanely special, it's still one of the better racing games, I guess you could say, in the recent years.